Unlock the quantum code. What happens when your subconscious finally connects? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung's timeless words remind us that the greatest transformation happens not outside, but within. In today's video, we'll explore what truly unfolds when your subconscious finally connects, when your inner world and outer reality begin to speak the same language through energy, awareness, and intention. Have you ever felt that life's patterns were guiding you towards something deeper, almost as if the universe was whispering in code? If so, you're in the right place. Stay with us, reflect deeply, and share in the comments how your subconscious has revealed hidden truths in your own journey of spiritual awakening. 1. Reality control and subconscious reprogramming. Your reality is constantly being molded by invisible systems designed to influence your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Every advertisement, every social expectation, every cultural message works subtly to shape what you believe is possible for you. Over time, this external conditioning infiltrates your subconscious, the true command center of your life. It's where your deepest beliefs, fears, and self-concepts are stored, silently dictating how you experience the world. When Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate," he was revealing a profound truth about human existence, that most people are not truly living. They are being lived by the hidden programs within them. From birth, you've been absorbing data from your environment like a sponge, your family's values, society's standards, and the world's definitions of success and love. These impressions become imprinted into your subconscious mind, shaping your emotional responses and behavioral patterns long before you ever make a conscious decision. Without realizing it, your life becomes a mirror reflecting these inherited beliefs. You attract relationships that reinforce your fears, careers that echo your doubts, and experiences that validate your inner programming. This is why spiritual awakening is not a single revelation. It's a lifelong process of remembering who you are beneath the conditioning. The modern world thrives on keeping you distracted from this truth. Every system around you, from the media to the economy, depends on your unconscious participation. It wants you chasing validation, buying into fear, and mistaking stimulation for happiness. But true spirituality begins when you pause long enough to observe your own thoughts. The moment you notice a pattern of an old wound repeating itself, a fear you keep obeying, you've already started reprogramming your subconscious. Awareness is the first form of rebellion. The more you watch without judgment, the more you weaken the grip of the old narrative. Your subconscious doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotion and repetition. This is why healing, meditation, visualization, and affirmations are so powerful. They bypass the analytical mind and plant new beliefs directly into your inner system. Each time you affirm your worth, visualize abundance, or release an old emotion, you're literally recoding your energetic frequency. You begin to send out new signals to the universe, and life starts to rearrange itself to match that vibration. What once felt like resistance becomes flow. What once seemed like coincidence begins to look like divine synchronicity. As your subconscious aligns with your conscious intention, a quantum shift occurs. You begin to sense life differently, not as something happening to you, but as something happening through you. The boundary between thought and reality blurs, and you realize that the outer world is merely a projection of your inner state. This is where spirituality and psychology merge. Jung's teachings reveal that integrating the conscious and the unconscious is the key to wholeness. When your mind and soul move in harmony, you unlock what can only be described as the quantum code of existence, the point where awareness becomes creation. Spiritual awakening, then, is the art of remembering that you were never meant to live as a product of control, but as the architect of consciousness itself. Reprogramming your subconscious is not an act of defiance against the system. It's the ultimate act of freedom. It's how you reclaim authorship over your destiny and dissolve the invisible chains that once bound you. The external world may still try to influence you, but once you master your inner one, you rise beyond it. This is where the real transformation begins. Not in escaping reality, but in realizing you are the one shaping it. Do you believe that your mind has the power to shape your reality? If you do, affirm it with conviction in the comments. My subconscious is awake, and I am in control of my reality. 2. Energy awareness and human potential. Energy is the current of existence that flows through every living being and every corner of the universe. It moves silently through your thoughts, emotions, and body, shaping the reality you experience. When you become aware of this energy, when you start to feel it move within you and learn to guide it through the natural pathways of your body, your life begins to change in ways that feel both subtle and miraculous. Your focus deepens, your body strengthens, and your mind clears. You begin to sense that you are not separate from the energy of life, but an essential part of its flow. This understanding is not fantasy. It's the meeting point between science and spirituality, where physics meets consciousness. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." His insight reveals a profound truth. Your subconscious is not just a psychological construct. It is an energetic system that mirrors the patterns of your awareness. When you illuminate what's hidden within you, you begin to consciously participate in the creation of your reality. Spirituality teaches that energy follows attention. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak carries a frequency, sending signals into the quantum field, a field that holds infinite possibilities. When your awareness is low, your subconscious simply repeats the same energetic loops of fear, worry, or doubt, and you attract more of what matches that vibration. But when your consciousness expands, when you become aware of your inner world, those old loops dissolve. You start to feel how peace attracts clarity, how gratitude amplifies abundance, and how love restores harmony. This is spiritual growth, the moment you realize that energy is the bridge between your inner state and the outer world. Jung believed that consciousness and energy are one and the same. He saw the human psyche as a living field of energy, an interface between the visible and invisible realms. When your subconscious finally connects with your conscious mind, a powerful integration takes place. You no longer feel divided. The conflict between who you are and who you pretend to be begins to fade. You start to live from your authentic center, guided by a higher intelligence that flows through you. This is what it means to unlock the quantum code, to awaken to the reality that your energy is the language of creation. Ancient spiritual practices like meditation, breath work, and mindful presence were designed to help you sense and direct this energy. Every conscious breath strengthens the flow of life force within you. Every moment of stillness realigns your energy with the rhythm of the universe. And every act of awareness turns unconscious reactions into deliberate creation. The more you cultivate this awareness, the more you realize that energy is not something outside of you, it is you. Through this awareness, you learn that spiritual growth is not about escaping life, but mastering your energy within it. It's about responding instead of reacting, creating instead of complaining, observing instead of resisting. Every challenge you face is an energetic initiation calling you to refine your vibration, to rise beyond the chaos of the mind and return to the harmony of the soul. You are not a victim of energy, you are its conductor. The field around you responds to the frequency you emit. So when you feel unbalanced, it's not a sign of failure, but a reminder to realign with your natural frequency of peace. The secret is simple, yet profound. Energy flows where your attention goes. Direct it toward love, and life mirrors it back. Focus it on fear, and the same law applies. The more consciously you guide your energy, the more your external world begins to reflect the serenity and strength within. This is the heart of spirituality, and the true purpose of spiritual growth is to awaken to your role as a conscious creator of reality, to harmonize with the universal flow, and to remember that the power you seek has always been your own. 3. Quantum entanglement and universal connection. Quantum entanglement reveals a profound truth that modern science is only beginning to understand, that everything in the universe is deeply connected beyond the limits of space and time. What happens to one particle instantly influences another, no matter how far apart they are. This isn't just physics, it's a mirror of your own inner reality. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions don't stay confined within your mind. They ripple outward, touching people, places, and even possibilities across the fabric of existence. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In this way, quantum entanglement is not just a phenomenon of matter. It's a revelation of consciousness, reminding you that your inner world is not separate from the outer world. It's part of the same cosmic network. Once your subconscious begins to awaken to this truth, something extraordinary happens. You stop seeing yourself as a separate being and start feeling the pulse of the universe moving through you. Every emotion becomes an energy signal. Every thought becomes a vibration that contributes to the harmony or disharmony of the whole. This is why Jung's idea of the collective unconscious fits perfectly within the quantum perspective. There is a shared field of awareness that links every soul, every dream, every experience. You are never thinking alone. You are resonating within a universal field that records and responds to every frequency you emit. Spiritual wisdom teaches that when your inner frequency rises through love, gratitude, and awareness, you begin to shift your entire reality because you are aligning with the higher order of the cosmos. The illusion of separation begins to fade the moment you recognize that everything from the beating of your heart to the movement of galaxies follows the same rhythm. Fear loses its power because you realize there is nothing outside of you. Everything is happening through you. As Rumi beautifully wrote, You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. When this understanding sinks into your subconscious, you begin to live differently. You no longer struggle to control life. Instead, you collaborate with it. You trust the unseen intelligence that connects every event, every encounter, every breath, knowing that the universe is always responding to your vibration. Synchronicities become your language with the divine, those perfect coincidences that arrive when your inner and outer worlds merge into harmony. You start to see how your thoughts shape events, how your emotions attract reflections of themselves, how your focus determines your experience. Each act of awareness becomes a form of creation, and each moment of love becomes a wave that expands across the quantum field. This is why awakening is not an escape from reality, but a deeper participation in it. When you are conscious of your energy, you realize that every prayer, every intention, every heartbeat is being received and mirrored by the universe instantly, just like two entangled particles responding across an infinite distance. Quantum entanglement is not just a scientific mystery. It is a living metaphor for who you are. You are a bridge between spirit and matter, a conscious creator wired into the universe's intelligence. When your subconscious finally connects, you remember that you were never disconnected at all. You were simply unaware of your own power. The moment awareness meets energy, transformation begins. That is the hidden code of the universe, and you are the key that unlocks it. Share your reflections below. How do you experience this deep sense of connection with the universe? I'd love to hear your insights on quantum entanglement and the subconscious. Let's explore this truth together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom so you never miss our next awakening video. 4. The subconscious mind as a quantum processor. Your subconscious mind is not just a hidden part of your brain. It is a living, breathing quantum processor, constantly shaping the fabric of your life in ways your conscious mind can barely comprehend. While your conscious mind thinks linearly, analyzing, comparing, and deciding, your subconscious operates at the level of pure energy, processing information millions of times faster, effortlessly connecting emotion, memory, and frequency into one unified field of creation. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. In the realm of spirituality and spiritual awakening, this truth becomes the foundation of transformation, because what you hold in your subconscious becomes the invisible blueprint of your destiny. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It responds only to emotion and repetition. This is why visualization, affirmation, and deep feeling have the power to reprogram your internal world. When you visualize something with emotion, wealth, peace, love, or success, you are not pretending. You are sending coded signals into the quantum field. The energy of belief becomes matter in motion, and over time, the universe begins to organize itself around that vibration. Modern neuroscience echoes this spiritual wisdom, showing that when you vividly imagine an experience, your brain activates the same neural circuits as if you were truly living it. This means your subconscious perceives imagination as reality, and through that perception, you begin to manifest it. Jung believed the subconscious was not isolated, but connected to the collective unconscious, a shared field of wisdom linking all human souls. Through this deeper connection, your mind becomes a receiver and transmitter of frequency within the universal energy web. This is why, when you raise your vibration through positive focus and self-awareness, you start to experience synchronicities, perfect alignments that feel guided by something greater than chance. People appear in your life at the right time, doors open effortlessly, and opportunities that once seemed impossible begin to flow toward you. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of resonance. When your inner world vibrates in harmony with your desires, reality adjusts to meet that frequency. Yet the subconscious is not only a field of potential, it also holds your pain, fears, and old emotional imprints that distort your frequency. Spiritual awakening, then, is not only about creating new beliefs, but cleansing old ones. Jung called this process individuation, the integration of the shadow into the light. By facing your repressed emotions with compassion instead of avoidance, you dissolve energetic blockages that once kept you trapped in repetitive cycles. Each act of awareness rewrites the quantum code of your subconscious. Each healed wound restores coherence to your energy field. In this sense, every emotional breakthrough becomes a shift in vibration that moves you closer to your higher self. As this transformation unfolds, your subconscious no longer works against you, but for you. It becomes an open channel for divine intelligence to flow through, aligning you with higher states of consciousness and purpose. Your emotions evolve from reactions into instruments of guidance, your thoughts from noise into intention. The more consciously you live, the more the universe mirrors that consciousness back to you through synchronicity, clarity, and peace. This is the sacred union between energy and awareness, the point where your subconscious finally connects with the infinite, where the invisible begins to take form, and where spirituality becomes the living proof that the mind and the universe are one continuous field of creation. 5. Synchronicity and the law of attraction. Carl Jung's idea of synchronicity opens a door into the hidden mechanics of spirituality and spiritual growth, showing that what we call coincidences are actually reflections of our inner focus. Every thought you hold is not just a passing spark. It is a frequency that vibrates through the field of existence, shaping the events, people, and outcomes that appear in your life. The energy of your mind is a signal broadcasted into the universe, and what you pay attention to is what returns to you. When your thoughts are scattered, life feels chaotic. But when your intention is clear and emotionally charged, it becomes a magnetic force that pulls the right experiences toward you, often in mysterious and unexpected ways. Synchronicity is the universe's way of speaking in symbols and timing rather than words. When you start noticing repeated numbers, meaningful encounters, or perfect timing that feels almost scripted, it's not luck. It's your consciousness aligning with the greater pattern of life. Jung understood that the psyche and the universe mirror one another, and that our inner world is not separate from the outer one. Every emotional frequency you emit ripples through the quantum field, gathering experiences that match its vibration. Fear, doubt, and scarcity create resistance, while gratitude, faith, and clarity invite flow. Your subconscious mind is the bridge between the seen and unseen, translating your dominant inner state into physical experience. The law of attraction operates on this same principle. Energy attracts like energy. It is not merely about thinking positively, but about feeling in harmony with what you seek. When your emotions and beliefs support your vision, your subconscious begins to reorganize reality to reflect it. The more awareness you bring to your inner dialogue, the faster the synchronicities appear. They are not accidents. They are confirmations that your inner transformation is working. Each sign, each alignment, is a whisper from the universe saying, "Keep going, you're in tune." When your subconscious finally connects, your perception changes completely. You start to see how your life has always been a conversation between your soul and the cosmos. Your thoughts become instruments of creation. Your emotions become magnetic fields, and your attention becomes the architect of your destiny. This is the essence of spiritual growth, realizing that your consciousness is the creative power shaping every moment. The universe is not outside of you. It's responding to you. And when you live in that awareness, every coincidence becomes divine guidance. Every challenge becomes transformation, and every thought becomes a seed in the garden of your reality. If you're ready to align your mind with the universe, repeat after me. I am one with synchronicity. My subconscious is now connected to the flow of divine timing, and the law of attraction is working in my favor. Believe it, feel it, and let the quantum code unfold within you. 6. 3 laws of quantum manifestation. Everything in the universe is energy, and as Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The moment your subconscious connects to the deeper truth of reality, you begin to unlock what could be called the quantum code, a spiritual awakening where energy, thought, and creation merge into one stream of divine intelligence. According to spiritual wisdom, there are 3 fundamental laws of quantum manifestation that shape your reality. The first is that energy follows attention. Whatever you focus on consistently begins to expand. Your thoughts are not passive. They are frequencies that inform the universe about what you wish to experience. When you constantly think about fear, scarcity, or failure, your energy field vibrates at that same frequency, attracting more of it into your life. But when you consciously focus on gratitude, abundance, and peace, the same law begins to rearrange the universe in your favor. This is not just positive thinking, it is energetic alignment. The universe mirrors the dominant energy of your mind and emotions. The second law states that energy matches frequency. In other words, you cannot attract something that you are not in harmony with. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. If you desire love but carry resentment, if you seek wealth but believe you are unworthy, or if you wish for peace while feeding inner chaos, the vibration you emit will block your manifestation. To embody the vibration of your desires, you must first become what you seek. You must live, feel, and act as if your dream already exists. This is what Jung meant when he explored the power of archetypes and the collective unconscious. Our internal patterns shape our external world. When your subconscious truly believes you are abundant, loved, and capable, the energy of the universe begins to synchronize with that truth. The manifestation is not created, it is revealed, because you have finally become aligned with it. The third law declares that energy needs direction. Without clarity, your power disperses. The universe does not respond to confusion, it responds to precision. A scattered mind creates scattered outcomes. That is why setting clear goals is not just a mental exercise. It is a sacred declaration to the cosmos. When you decide exactly what you want without doubt or hesitation, you give the universe a map to follow. This focus channels your spiritual energy effectively, turning invisible potential into visible results. Just as light becomes a powerful laser when focused, your thoughts become powerful manifestations when directed with purpose. When these three laws of attention, frequency, and direction are aligned, results come naturally, without force or struggle. You enter a flow state where action feels effortless and synchronicities multiply. The subconscious mind becomes a bridge between spirit and matter, allowing you to experience the truth Jung hinted at. Reality itself is a reflection of your inner world. Spiritual wisdom teaches that the universe does not respond to your words, but to the energy behind them. So train your mind to dwell in gratitude, clarity, and unwavering faith. In doing so, you become a conscious co-creator of your destiny, proving that manifestation is not magic. It is alignment between your subconscious, your energy, and the divine intelligence that governs all things. 7. Neuroplasticity and emotional energy transformation. The brain is not a fixed machine, but a living, breathing universe capable of rewiring itself through repetition, focus, and awareness. This is the essence of neuroplasticity, your mind's remarkable ability to transform itself when guided by consciousness. In the journey of spirituality and spiritual awakening, this becomes your secret code, the power to reshape not only how you think, but who you are. Every thought, every feeling, and every action sends a signal to your neural network, carving new pathways that define the way you experience life. The brain learns what you teach it, and it repeats what you rehearse most often. If your daily focus is stress, fear, or resentment, the brain strengthens those circuits. But when your focus shifts to peace, gratitude, and purpose, those are the frequencies that begin to dominate your mental world. Emotions, then, are not your enemies. They are pure energy in motion, waiting for your direction. Anger, fear, and sadness are not signs of weakness, but doorways to transformation. When anger arises, it brings the raw power of action. When fear surfaces, it carries the wisdom of caution. When sadness appears, it offers depth and empathy. Each of these emotions, when accepted and redirected, becomes fuel for your evolution. What we resist persists, Carl Jung once said, reminding us that suppression only strengthens the shadow. The moment you meet your emotions with awareness instead of resistance, you convert chaos into clarity, transforming emotional storms into streams of energy that can move mountains. Neuroplasticity and emotional energy work together like sacred partners. Every time you respond consciously to emotion instead of reacting unconsciously, you rewire your brain for higher consciousness. This means that through daily awareness and deliberate habits, you are literally teaching your mind how to sustain higher energy states. Meditation, breath work, or even the simple act of gratitude are not just spiritual practices. They are rewiring tools that carve new neural highways leading to peace, balance, and strength. You may not see the change instantly, but within weeks of consistent focus, the architecture of your brain begins to shift, and your emotional default moves from survival to expansion. This is how spirituality becomes science in motion. When you cultivate awareness and form new habits rooted in love, patience, and purpose, you're not escaping reality. You're designing it. The subconscious begins to connect with the conscious, forming a bridge between thought and feeling, between energy and matter. Your emotional energy transforms from reactive waves into intentional currents, and the frequencies you emit start to match the life you desire. Spiritual awakening is not some mystical accident. It's the natural outcome of a brain that has learned to harmonize with higher states of being. It's the point where neuroplasticity meets soul evolution, where every emotion becomes a teacher, every thought a sculptor, and every conscious choice a brushstroke painting the masterpiece of your awakened self. To honor your journey of transformation and mental mastery, declare your commitment today. Comment below, "My mind is rewiring for greatness," to affirm your faith in the power of neuroplasticity and inspire others to rise with you in this awakening of emotional energy and spiritual wisdom. 8. Quantum visualization and reality shifting tools. Visualization bridges the unseen world of thought with the tangible realm of experience, acting as the sacred intersection where mind becomes matter. When you create a clear image in your mind and infuse it with emotion, your energy field begins to resonate with that frequency, quietly signaling to the universe that this is your chosen reality. In spirituality, this process is not a metaphor. It is a law. Everything begins as vibration, and the energy of your thoughts is what first shapes the matrix of your life. As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Visualization is how you begin to reverse that process, transforming fate into conscious creation and directing your subconscious mind toward your highest vision. The mirror method is one of the most intimate tools for this transformation. When you look directly into your eyes and affirm words of truth, love, and power, you are not simply talking to yourself. You are communicating with the deeper intelligence that shapes your destiny. Every time you say, "I am enough," "I am powerful," or "I am whole," your subconscious begins to rewrite the story it once believed. Over time, those affirmations dissolve self-doubt and build new neural pathways that align you with inner confidence and peace. Alongside that comes grounding, the essential practice of drawing your awareness back into your body and reconnecting with the steady pulse of the earth. While spiritual growth often lifts your energy to higher realms of awareness, grounding ensures you remain rooted in the physical plane, so the energy you cultivate can materialize in real life instead of remaining a fleeting spiritual high. Scripting is another profound practice that turns your thoughts into blueprints of manifestation. When you write your desires as though they have already come true, you are training your subconscious to accept a new vibrational identity. Words are not empty. They are frequencies that mold energy. Writing statements such as, "I live in peace," or "Abundance flows effortlessly into my life," teaches your subconscious to embody that truth. Paired with this is the energy bubble technique, where you visualize yourself surrounded by a radiant sphere of light. This bubble acts as both a protector and amplifier. It blocks negativity while magnetizing experiences that match your higher frequency. It reminds you that spirituality is not only about ascension, but also about energetic precision learning to consciously direct what enters and exits your field. The final practice, pattern breaking, is where true alchemy happens. Every time you interrupt an old reaction, shift a repetitive thought, or choose compassion over fear, you rewrite your internal programming. You are teaching your subconscious that change is safe that new realities are available, and that you are no longer bound by your past conditioning. This act of awareness is a quantum shift in motion, the instant where the old vibration dissolves and a new one takes root. When combined with visualization, this becomes a cycle of renewal. You see, you feel, you act differently, and the universe mirrors your new energy back to you. Visualization, when practiced daily with emotional depth and awareness, is not escapism. It is a sacred technology for spiritual growth. It allows you to merge thought and feeling into a single, powerful vibration that reorganizes your inner and outer world. Through mirror work, grounding, scripting, energetic protection, and pattern breaking, you are not waiting for life to change. You are consciously sculpting the unseen architecture of your destiny. This is where spirituality meets science, and where transformation becomes inevitable. When the subconscious finally connects, reality no longer feels random. It becomes a reflection of your inner world. Every thought, emotion, and belief starts to shape what you attract. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So take a moment to reflect on what your soul is broadcasting today. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. Your journey to unlocking the quantum code of your mind has only just begun. Carl Jung. Why awakening makes you feel tired of people? Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. Carl Jung once said this, revealing one of the deepest truths about spiritual awakening. When your consciousness expands, the world you once knew begins to feel unfamiliar. The conversations, the noise, and even certain relationships may no longer resonate, not because you've become cold, but because your soul has grown quieter, wiser, and more selective with its energy. So, if you've been feeling tired of people lately, perhaps it's not disconnection, but transformation. Have you ever felt this shift yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might be the reminder someone needs today. 1. Core meaning of awakening fatigue. After a spiritual awakening, you begin to notice that the world no longer feels the same. The conversations, the gatherings, even the laughter that once comforted you now seems strangely hollow. It's not that you've grown cold or antisocial. It's that your awareness has expanded beyond the noise. Your spirit starts to crave truth over entertainment, depth over distraction, and silence over small talk. You feel the subtle difference between genuine connection and energy exchange that drains your soul. Carl Jung once said that loneliness does not come from having no one around you, but from being unable to express what truly matters to your heart. And that's precisely what happens after awakening. You outgrow the need to fit in and begin to long for what is real. You start to realize that your fatigue isn't physical, but spiritual. Your energy, once freely shared with everyone, now becomes sacred. When you awaken, your internal frequency changes. You begin to vibrate at a higher level of awareness. Every interaction becomes an energetic exchange that either nourishes or depletes you. The conversations rooted in fear, gossip, or ego suddenly feel heavier, almost painful. Your system resists what no longer aligns with your truth, This exhaustion is not weakness. It's your soul's way of signaling that something within you has evolved. Spiritual awakening makes you more sensitive to dishonesty, chaos, and emotional noise because you now perceive beyond words. You sense intention, energy, and authenticity. You might start to withdraw, not out of arrogance, but because you need time to understand this new sensitivity. The silence that once frightened you now feels like home. The solitude you once avoided becomes healing. You learn to honor your inner world instead of escaping from it. The need to please, to overextend, to carry others' pain begins to dissolve. Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming whole within yourself. You stop seeking validation from others and instead build a relationship with your own soul. That's why so many awakened individuals feel detached. They are not broken or bitter. They are integrating a deeper level of truth that no longer fits into the old framework of social expectation. The people who remain asleep might accuse you of changing, and in truth, you have. You've changed from seeking company to seeking peace. You've changed from wanting to be understood to simply understanding yourself. The fatigue you feel around certain people is not personal, it's energetic misalignment. Their energy still echoes with old patterns, while yours vibrates with new awareness. This is why you find it hard to tolerate meaningless conversations or environments filled with ego. You're not rejecting them. Your energy is simply no longer compatible. Like a radio tuned to a different frequency, you cannot hear the same static anymore. But this phase, as isolating as it seems, is sacred. The loneliness that accompanies awakening is the soul's cocoon, the space where transformation deepens. It's in this solitude that you learn to rebuild your boundaries, to protect your peace, and to listen to the quiet wisdom of your spirit. The exhaustion eventually becomes clarity. The silence becomes understanding. And what you once called loneliness transforms into serenity. Spirituality is not about escaping the world, but learning how to live in it without losing yourself. You begin to see that love does not mean self-sacrifice, that compassion does not mean absorption, and that connection is only true when it flows in both directions. So when you feel tired of people after awakening, understand this. Your soul is not rejecting humanity. It's refining its frequency. The fatigue is not a sign of disconnection, but of discernment. It's the moment your spirit chooses authenticity over adaptation. It's the stage where you stop dimming your light to make others comfortable and start walking in your truth, even if that means walking alone for a while. This is the true essence of spiritual awakening, a return to your own energy, your own center, and the quiet strength of your authentic self. Have you ever felt that deep exhaustion after realizing how differently you now see the world? That's the essence of awakening fatigue. Share your experience in the comments so we can grow together. And if you haven't reached that stage yet, type "I'm awakening" to affirm your journey and join this path of spiritual wisdom and transformation. 2. Jung's explanation, individuation and the persona. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the sacred unfolding of your true self beneath the layers of who you were taught to be. It's the moment when your spirit begins to awaken and you realize that much of what you once called connection was actually performance. For so long, you've worn the persona, a mask crafted to keep you safe to please, to be accepted, to fit neatly into the expectations of others. But when spirituality begins to stir inside you, that mask starts to crack. You begin to feel an inner restlessness, a sense that pretending no longer feels natural, that your energy is too sacred to spend on shallow exchanges or empty routines. Suddenly, conversations that once seemed normal begin to feel hollow, and you find yourself retreating from the noise because something deep within you is asking for truth, silence, and depth instead of approval. This is the fatigue of awakening the body and nervous system still trying to replay the old patterns of compliance, while the soul demands authenticity. It's not that you dislike people, it's that your vibration is changing. Your system is detoxing from the habit of small talk and superficial validation, learning instead to breathe in stillness, honesty, and meaning. Jung saw this as the tension between the persona and the self, that sacred conflict where your conditioned self starts to dissolve and your real essence begins to rise. The tiredness comes from fighting between two worlds, the external one built on expectation and the inner one blooming with truth. You're shedding the false identities that once helped you survive, but now keep you from living fully. This exhaustion is the soul's signal that it's time to stop performing and start being. As your consciousness expands, you may feel disoriented, unsure where you belong, or why you can no longer tolerate the things you once did. But this confusion is part of spiritual growth. It's what happens when the old self dies and the new one hasn't fully taken form yet. The mask you wore for years starts falling away, and with it, all the relationships and attachments built upon illusion. What you feel as loss is actually purification. Every wave of fatigue is a cleansing current, washing away what no longer aligns with your higher vibration. You are reclaiming energy from every moment you once betrayed your truth just to belong. That's why you crave solitude not as escape, but as renewal. In silence, your energy resets, your intuition sharpens, and your inner being starts to harmonize with the rhythm of authenticity. Spirituality teaches that when you are finally honest with yourself, you no longer need to force connection. You begin to attract what resonates with your soul rather than what pleases your mask. The tiredness is not a weakness, it's an initiation. It's the universe whispering, "Rest," because your energy is evolving. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You are now making it conscious you're awakening to the truth of who you are. And as you release what's false, your relationships shift from performance to presence, from obligation to resonance. In this sacred exhaustion, you are not losing people, you are gaining yourself. The fatigue fades the moment you stop pretending. Then what remains is peace, the quiet strength of a soul finally aligned with its own light. If this message from Carl Jung resonated with your awakening journey, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's grow together on this path of individuation and true self-discovery. 3. The shadow and deep sensitivity. As you awaken, you begin to see through the layers of illusion that once felt normal. You no longer see people only by their smiles or words, but by the vibration that lies beneath. You sense the sadness hiding behind laughter, the insecurity hidden beneath arrogance, the exhaustion behind perfection. You notice your own shadow too, the denied parts of you that once lived unseen. This awakening doesn't make you superior. It simply makes you aware. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And that's what awakening does. It forces you to see both your inner darkness and the collective pain of others. It's not that people suddenly changed. It's that your perception sharpened, your empathy deepened, and your energy became sensitive to what was once invisible. The deeper your spiritual wisdom grows, the more unbearable falseness becomes. You used to sit through small talk with ease, nodding politely as conversations floated on the surface. But now, every empty exchange feels heavy. The soul that once tolerated pretense now craves truth, depth, and genuine presence. Your energy rejects what is fake, not because you judge it, but because your frequency has risen above it. You feel people's intentions before they speak. You sense tension before it erupts. You notice when words don't match emotions. This sensitivity can make the world feel louder, heavier, and more chaotic, yet it is a sacred sign of transformation. Your soul is learning to navigate the world not through logic, but through vibration. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey toward wholeness, where light and shadow, consciousness and unconsciousness merge into one. It's a sacred integration that changes how you relate to everyone around you. You begin to see beyond personalities into the deeper stories people carry, their unhealed wounds, their silent fears, their inner children still longing to be seen. You don't just hear what people say. You feel what their souls are trying to express. That's why awakening can make you feel tired of people, not because you lack compassion, but because you can no longer pretend. The truth is, you were never meant to stay comfortable in the noise. Your fatigue is not rejection, it's evolution. As your spiritual awakening unfolds, you learn that solitude is not loneliness, it's recalibration. Every moment you spend in silence, your energy reorganizes itself, shedding layers of old vibrations that no longer belong to you. You stop needing to explain yourself because peace has become your language. You no longer chase validation because truth has become your home. To the awakened soul, presence is everything. Carl Jung once wrote, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." And so you keep looking within, learning to love from a higher place, not through attachment or sacrifice, but through clarity and understanding. You realize that love is not about fixing others. It's about staying rooted in your own light so deeply that your very presence becomes healing. That is the essence of spiritual wisdom, seeing the world as it is, feeling it deeply, and still choosing to respond with awareness instead of reaction. Comment below. I embrace my shadow with love. If you're ready to turn your deep sensitivity into spiritual strength, let this be your declaration that awareness, not avoidance, leads to true awakening. 4. The nervous system upgrade. Awakening is not only a spiritual journey, but also a profound physiological transformation that reshapes the very wiring of your being. During this process, your nervous system begins to shift from a constant state of alertness, emotional absorption, and survival mode to a higher frequency of awareness. At first, this transition feels disorienting. You may wake up feeling tired, overstimulated by sounds, lights, and even the smallest conversations. Everything that once seemed normal now feels too loud, too fast, too heavy. But this isn't a weakness, it's evolution. Your body is learning to operate in a new way, moving from reaction to observation, from emotional chaos to energetic clarity. The exhaustion is not a punishment. It's an initiation into a new way of being where your nervous system finally starts to synchronize with your expanded consciousness. For empaths, this shift can be especially intense. You've spent years absorbing the energy of others, unconsciously carrying their pain, their moods, their unspoken emotions as if they were your own. Your nervous system has been conditioned to absorb instead of witness, to rescue instead of rest. But spiritual awakening asks for something higher than it asks for mastery. It teaches you to feel without drowning, to care without collapsing, to love without losing yourself. The fatigue you experience during this transformation is your body's way of detoxing from years of energetic overload. You are no longer meant to live on adrenaline or emotional reactivity. You are learning to function from peace, not pressure. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is the essence of your transformation, bringing unconscious emotional patterns into awareness so that your body, mind, and soul can finally operate as one. As your spiritual awakening deepens, you begin to notice subtle changes within. The same situations that once triggered you now seem lighter. You start observing rather than reacting, feeling rather than fixing. Your nervous system, once overstimulated, learns the art of regulation. You begin to sense the energy behind people's words, to recognize truth, not by logic, but by resonance. You can walk into a room and feel whether peace or chaos lives there, not because you are absorbing it, but because your awareness has become refined. This heightened perception may at first feel isolating, but it's actually liberation. You are no longer controlled by external noise. You are anchored within your own frequency. The fatigue fades as your system learns to sustain higher consciousness without collapsing under its intensity. This is what Jung called individuation, the sacred process of becoming whole. It's not about rejecting others or withdrawing from life. It's about engaging with the world consciously, from a place of inner coherence. When your nervous system fully upgrades, you no longer need to protect your energy with walls. Your awareness itself becomes the shield. You learn to respond, not react to observe, not absorb to give, without losing yourself in the process. Spiritual awakening is, therefore, the merging of biology and divinity. It is your nervous system learning to hold light without burning out, to remain grounded while expanding beyond form. And with every breath, every quiet moment of awareness, your body and soul align more deeply, transforming overstimulation into serenity, exhaustion into clarity, and survival into conscious living. 5. Integration and new relationships. As you begin to integrate your shadow and awaken to who you truly are, your energy no longer fluctuates with every opinion or expectation around you. It stabilizes. You stop searching for safety in others because you have finally found it within yourself. The need to be rescued dissolves, replaced by a quiet confidence that you can hold yourself through any storm. This is the moment when spirituality stops being an idea and becomes a lived experience. You start to feel your own presence as your anchor, no longer defined by who approves of you, but by how deeply you stand in your truth. Carl Jung once said, The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And this is exactly what spiritual growth feels like, unfolding back into your own wholeness, piece by piece, layer by layer. When you reach this stage, solitude no longer feels like punishment. It becomes sacred realignment. You start to see that loneliness was never the absence of people, but the absence of connection to your authentic self. As you spend time in stillness, your inner frequency recalibrates. You stop craving noise, distractions, or shallow validation. You begin to listen to the language of your soul, the soft guidance that once got lost in the chaos of trying to please everyone else. This stillness purifies you, and as your energy becomes clear, you start attracting people who resonate with that same clarity. The relationships that now enter your life carry a different vibration. They are not built on performance, expectation, or dependency. They arise from mutual truth and emotional maturity. You find yourself surrounded by individuals who are not threatened by your authenticity, but inspired by it. These are soul-aligned relationships with people who meet you in honesty, not illusion. With them, you can breathe freely, speak openly, and exist without the pressure to be someone else. The connection feels calm, yet powerful, simple, yet profound, because it's no longer fueled by fear, it's anchored in presence. As your spiritual growth deepens, you start noticing that some people naturally drift away. The bonds that were built on insecurity or shared wounds can no longer hold when your energy no longer vibrates at that frequency. It's not betrayal, it's evolution. You realize that you don't have to chase anyone or hold on to what's trying to leave. The universe is simply clearing space for what aligns with your new level of consciousness. You begin to understand that endings are not losses. They are doorways into deeper truth. Every goodbye teaches you to rely less on the external and more on your own center. Through this process, love itself transforms. It becomes less about possession and more about resonance. You stop needing others to complete you because you finally feel complete within. The people you now attract mirror that inner wholeness. They're not here to fill a void, but to walk beside you in mutual growth. You start to see that genuine connection doesn't drain you. It nourishes you. It doesn't pull you out of alignment. It grounds you even more deeply in it. And as you continue to embody this authenticity, your presence alone becomes magnetic. You no longer seek to be understood by everyone because you understand yourself. You no longer fear being alone because solitude feels like home. This is the quiet power of spiritual growth. The realization that the relationships meant for you will recognize your soul without you having to prove your worth. What you attract now is a reflection of your integration, your stability, and your truth. You no longer reach for love. You radiate it. Leave your likes and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future insights about your awakening journey and deeper human connections. Type in the comments, "I am ready to attract relationships that align with my higher self." 6. The deeper lesson. Awakening. As Carl Jung revealed through his profound spiritual wisdom, is not about distancing yourself from people. It's about returning so deeply to your inner world that you can meet others from a place of peace, clarity, and authenticity. When you awaken, something within you shifts. You stop chasing validation, and you begin to crave truth. You no longer wish to fill the silence. Instead, you listen to it. You begin to see that the exhaustion you feel around people isn't hatred. It's the soul's quiet rebellion against inauthenticity. As Jung once said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. When you start looking within, you realize how much of your energy used to be spent keeping up appearances, managing others' expectations, and playing roles that were never truly yours. Awakening strips all of that away. It leaves you raw, honest, and beautifully exposed to your true self. At first, this transformation can feel lonely. You'll lose some connections because the vibration of your new awareness no longer matches the frequency of those who thrive in illusion. But what you lose externally, you gain internally. You find the courage to sit with yourself, to feel without fleeing, to breathe without performing. Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are beneath the masks. He said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that privilege requires solitude, silence, and surrender. Feeling tired of people, then, is not a failure. It's evidence of your soul refining its resonance. You are no longer compatible with small talk because your heart longs for truth. You no longer resonate with gossip because your mind is learning peace. The more you awaken, the more you understand that your fatigue comes not from people themselves, but from the energy of pretense, the heaviness of falsehood, and the emptiness of shallow connection. You begin to crave stillness because that's where your spirit heals. You learn to interact not out of need or habit, but from wholeness. You listen with empathy, but without absorption, love without attachment, and give without depletion. Slowly, you realize awakening does not separate you from humanity. It transforms how you relate to it. You stop projecting your wounds onto others and start recognizing their pain with compassion. You stop trying to fix everyone and begin respecting divine timing. You understand that everyone is walking their own path of awakening, even if they don't see it yet. So when you feel tired of people, remember, your soul is recalibrating. It is teaching you the art of sacred distance, the ability to stay kind without being consumed, to stay open without losing your boundaries. Solitude becomes your sanctuary, not your punishment. It's where you hear the whispers of your higher self, where your intuition strengthens, and where peace becomes your natural state. In this sacred quiet, you realize that true connection doesn't come from being surrounded by people. It comes from being rooted in truth. That is the essence of Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom, the awakening that doesn't make you superior, but whole, not detached, but deeply aligned. Feeling tired is simply your soul resting from lifetimes of pretending, as it learns once more how to live, love, and exist in divine authenticity. If awakening has made you feel distant from people, remember this truth. You're not broken, you're becoming whole. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Each wave of fatigue, each moment of solitude is your soul's way of clearing space for deeper, more authentic connections. So instead of seeing your sensitivity as a weakness, treat it as sacred awareness, guiding you toward alignment. Let this be your practice. Honor your energy, speak your truth, and connect from wholeness, not habit. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone walking a similar path. And tell me in the comments, when did you first realize your energy no longer matched the world around you? I'd love to read your story. This is spiritual wisdom, and your awakening is only the beginning